Okay, so this is our second part to JavaScript. I think this will be the last one, and we'll go straight to jQuery next class. jQuery will allow you to do a lot of very cool stuff like animation. You can do that with JavaScript, but it's a lot more complicated because of the different browsers. You'll run into IE having a slightly different language for controlling animation versus, Safari or Firefox. So we'll let jQuery handle the complicated stuff. Before jQuery, we had to do browser detection, and you have to do this for this browser, you have to do this for this browser. We still have to do that to a degree, but with the help of jQuery, that's not as bad as it used to be. We'll jump into objects today. An object is basically a collection of data types. It could be properties, it could be methods, meaning it could be variables, different types of variables, and different functions. One example is easily the date object. So you want to find the date in the browser. You can instantiate with a new keyword. And I'll alert my date.get date. So this is calling a method getDate from the date object. It's the 17th. Or you can get year. (2013). It's pretty straightforward. Another object is a math object. If you need to do exponents or rounding off numbers, pi, cosine, all that good stuff, this is what you'd use. But you don't need to instantiate it like you did with the date, with the new keyword. Three. Another object is the string object, which we've been using. Can be easily done by like so. With the string object, there are tons of methods you can use to manipulate the string. Let's say you want to count the amount of characters in the string. You can simply do myString.length. This will give you 5. Those are the number of characters in that string. You can grab a chunk of the text rather than the whole text. myString.substring the start of the string, which is the start of the substring, and then the length the substring. Say 5 characters into it. Get the final bracket. So all I'm getting is hi, my. We could change the beginning, skip the hi altogether. My, and then you get the space in the end. Let's cut it down to three characters. So all I'm getting is my, and then a space. Or if you just want one character, you can use char at. Just want to grab the capital H. And if you need to change the case, like making it lowercase, to do is 2 lowercase. And this will convert the capital to a lowercase. Okay. So that's the string object. Another object which comes in handy is the regular expression. Say you need to test the name field to be only characters, or if you have social security field needs only to be numbers, it's really handy to do that. Or if you need to search a character or a word in a long sentence, you would use a regular expression. It's simply, I will post a link to the complete list of these kind of cryptic code. It is cryptic, so it's handy to have a list. So basically what this is saying is find the string to be A through Z globally with the G, meaning that this string can only be letters, lowercase. If you need to combine uppercase and lowercase, just do capital A. So let's say you have a string called str is equal to hi, hello there. You need to test if this is all letters. Just do if. Actually, let's just do alert. Expression pattern, reg x dot test, and then the string. So when you test this, it should pop up true, meaning the string contains only letters. Say we throw in a couple numbers, and still true. And it comes up false. So that's a little tricky. If numbers and letters, it comes up true. And if it's only numbers, it'll come up false. You can also find certain characters in the string. Let's say you're looking for a valid email, you're looking for an @ sign and a period, like in .com or .org. Send in @2noodles.com. We'll use something else besides test. We'll use we'll flip this around, so it's str.match, and then the regular expression, regex. When we test this, it will return an array of the @ sign and the dot sign. If this email didn't contain these signs, it returns a null, or if there was just one of those, if only one of the characters was there, it only shows up once. So you can actually test saying, if there's 2 of you, then you are a correct email. Okay, we're going to set up a first name, middle name, last name field. Okay, let's grab the names. Okay, let's grab the names. And we'll do some manipulation. Let's say we want to create a username, like in your Miami ID. So we'll grab the first 7 letters of your last name, the first letter of your first name, and the first letter of your middle name, and combine them. So we would do last name, substring, first 7 letters, plus the first letter of your first name, here at 0, and the first letter of your middle name at 0. So we get Johnson JB. Pretty straightforward. Let's lowercase all that stuff to lowercase. Jack Hill Johnson. It's all lowercase. Okay. And also it might be handy to check if all the fields are letters as well, so we'll use that regular expression. With so if fname is true to having all letters, and the middle name, and the middle name, and the last name. If all these conditions are true, then perform a certain task. That's what these 2 ampersand signs stands for, is the AND, logical AND, meaning that all these have to be true for the condition to be executed. But that's not really what we want. We want, in this case, where if it's false, we want to alert somebody. So you can do if it's equal to false instead of it is true. Or you can use a shorthand with the exclamation mark in front of the condition. So if this is true, this stands for not true or false. Then alert letters only. Oh, before I forget, we need to return false to the form so that this part doesn't execute in case this is false. What's also handy is that it checks for if you leave out a blank input field as well, so that's pretty handy. I'm going to add a year of birth field. I'm going to add a year of birth field. Where you need to type in, like 1980, 1974, and so on. We'll test that as well. But instead of letters, obviously, it can only be numbers. So, stand to reason, 0 through 9. If it's not numbers, test. And we'll grab the year of birth. Okay. And also, we know that the year only contains 4 numbers for now, until we get to like year 5,000 or something. After that, we can also test else if. This is adding on to the testing numbers. Use else if. While b dot length, so we can count the letters in the year. If it's not 4, we can alert not a valid date. Okay. So what an else if is, it's just a chain in the ifs. If this is not true, then keep on testing this next block of text. So let's throw in 5,000, 50,000, not a valid date. So if we throw in 1900, it passes the test. If you throw in a letter in there, let's see what happens. not a valid date. Oh. Numbers only. And to find how old you are, obviously all you need to do is to subtract the current year to the year that's entered into the year of birth date. So we'll just alert. So 1980. And 33 comes up. Okay, let's change these the pet radio buttons to checkboxes. So a checkbox is slightly different from a radio, where you can choose multiple options rather than just one. And usually the name or the variable is an array, since it keeps more than one value. That's the typical way to handle it. Okay. So now you can check however. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab the values that's checked. It's pretty straightforward. It's the same as the radio buttons. Using a for loop and cycling through. I created a variable called checkboxes, getting the pet name part of the form, and I'm going to store the checked value into an array called pet. Actually, let's call it pet array, so we won't get confused. So cycling through the length of the checkboxes, which is 3, right? And then test if it's checked. And whatever is checked gets pushed or added to the array. That's what the push keyword is. Into the pet array. So in the end, we can alert pet array. It should be a complete list of what we checked. Let's check. And the list is here, cat and dog. Oh, there. cat and other. And cat and other. Let's check a valid email as well. We're checking for an at and a period. And then we'll match it. And if the length is not 2, these 2 items, that's not a valid email. So it's pretty straightforward. I think that's pretty much covers it for JavaScript this class. We'll jump into jQuery, which is a lot more fun than this stuff, but I think this is a good foundation. I'll provide links to the lesson, and that should be it.